Good morning, good morning. Welcome to episode 4, season 6 of Mindful Meditations on Art Jewelry. My name is Allison Barnett, and I'm coming to you once again from Patina Gallery here in beautiful winter wonderland of Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I'm so pleased for everyone who's joining us this morning. And as we talk about the work of Claire Kahn, please let us know if you're enjoying the video and send us your emojis and positive thoughts for what we're doing this morning. I am here with Claire Kahn.
Hello.
Hi, Claire. And we're back once again because Claire continues to astound us with the beauty that she brings into the world with her crochet of cylindrical glass beads and gemstones. And her work is always about color and pattern and light and exploring color in all its dimensions. But this year, or for this exhibition, which is entitled Woven, the inspiration is for your mom, Claire Kahn, and also for Missoni and
Jacona Larson,
and famous textile artists. So, much of your work is often about, things that are woven, but you're exploring more specifically this particular exhibition about these themes. So I'm going to turn the camera to Claire and to the work and reference material so you can enjoy what we're looking at. So let me just turn the camera. Here we go. So Claire, tell us about what you have in front of you.
Well, we've put together a few textiles that my mother created. She was a weaver. And I have some samples here also of the work of Jacona Larson, who was a fabulous textile designer for more commercial use. And he did a line of silks that I'm particularly fond of and used as inspiration for this show. And then there's Missoni also, which just by, they're knits more than they are woven, but they have that woven quality, and their frequent use of like the zigzag kind of pattern is something that I love and works very well with my crochet technique.
And it's sort of inherent in this crochet.
It comes naturally to the crochet.
Yeah.
And I've always thought that my work would look nice on a Missoni outfit.
It would be stunning. It would be stunning. So what work do you have in front of you? Of course, you make necklaces and bracelets.
Yes. This one is inspired by Jacona Larson. It takes a progression from light to dark in about an inch length that includes whites, yellows, golds, purples.
I love when you play with these opposite colors.
And that every time there's that little progression, I accent it with a sapphire. So, and these are yellow and orange sapphires set in 18 karat gold that are kind of like little charm accent ornaments on the piece. And this is directly related to, you might call a chambray or a very fine weave in silk. So here's just this little book sample of colors. And for instance, there's these beautiful mixes that he did that work. They're very strong silk fabrics, but they work beautifully as upholstery and wall covering, and he would pick a color combination and then do lots of different kinds of weaves so that you could have kind of theme and variation.
Oh, wow.
Look how beautiful that one is.
And I love how the light changes as you move across it.
As you move across it. That's the chambray effect. The warp is one color and the weft is another. And I'm always trying to achieve that with my little beadwork here. It's different, but...
Well, and as you often say, it's these little micro beads.
These little beads.
They don't, individually they mean nothing, but when you, as an individual thread would be in the weaving, it means nothing. It's a thread of color. But when you put it together in these different combinations, and look at the way the light reflects off of the silk. But that's when the material comes to life. That's when your work comes to life. When you put together these different combinations of beads and these sequential patterns. I mean, it's sort of mathematics in a way. You're thinking about geometry and the linear quality and what happens as these beads are spiraling. But you've taken away the effect of the spiral as you're crocheting, which is natural, to create these more interwoven, perpendicular parallel lines. But look at that.
Look at that color. And so this is a light version that he did, that he has a little bit of actual reflective gold in there, which is called lurex. It's a very fine gold thread. And then this darker version with the blues and the browns and the golds together. I just love that.
Yeah.
And it really inspires my work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really fun to take on something that's so beautiful and try and interpret it some way in these beads, you know.
And how did you first come across the work of Jack Lenore Larson?
Well, it was years ago. I was working for the architect Skidmore, Owings and Merrill in their interiors division in San Francisco, and there used to be an area in San Francisco called Washington Square where you could go to various showrooms. Knoll International had a showroom there. There was Boris Kroll, Isabel Scott, Gretchen Bellinger, Jack Lenore Larson. These were all textile houses that developed textiles for commercial use, and carpet. So there was carpet, fabric for upholstery, wall fabrics, casements. And Larson had his own showroom in Washington Square. And
he was still living back then?
Yes. And that's, you know, that's how I learned about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good there. And there's other ones too that works well with. So this whole spectrum going on here. Look at that, this purple and green one, which was an important one in the group for me. This combination of color.
Yeah.
Here here, this necklace. See, that's the one that.
Oh.
So
and what do you have on this?
I have, this one alternates.
Chrysocolla?
Chrysocolla. Thank you.
Anytime.
Chrysocolla.
I'll complete your sentences.
and garnet.
And garnet.
And so it's this idea of this beautiful red and turquoisey blue coming together, which he did in this particular
Look at
textile.
That. Yeah.
And then, you know, there are other variations. This is like a chambray. See how it changes color
it's iridescent.
depending. Yeah. And all these variations, they're just so delightful. I mean, look at that one. I didn't even do one on that, but wow, could you?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, when I pulled this and look at this,
that's beautiful together.
The inspiration for you is really kind of endless,
yeah,
and has always been. Another one of the inspirations for you is your mother, and so if we just set aside this book for one moment, let me pull out your necklaces from the book. Hold on, okay. So in front of us here we have a textile.
Yeah, so these are just some examples. Her work, my mother was a weaver, my grandmother was a weaver. My grandmother wove, her name was Anneke Vos van Tijn, she was Dutch in Holland, and she really wove yardage. My mother was wove what she called hangings, which were similar to tapestry. And they're big, and I don't have those here. But I do have some examples of her work, and that show the kind of color and beautiful relationships between scale and color and pattern that she used that are so directly inspirational. I'm so influenced by my mother. This was actually a quiet piece. She did exquisite, quiet, subtle color pieces, and she also did strong pieces. This one is actually a shawl. And you can see in this textile that her love of surprise and introducing contradictions in the fabric. So there are these moments of heavier material, wool in this case, that weave through it, thick,
and thin. These sort of bold contrasts.
She wore it as a shawl.
Yes.
You know, so
it's a lighter weight.
It's a lighter weight, but it's very warm and elegant. And I'm directly influenced by her more than anybody else, I think.
So, which pieces would you say are the Leda influence?
So there's all of this. This is actually Sony, but. Yeah. There's a number of Leda pieces.
The Leda ones are where you have this direct sort of, as I said, the linear, weaving sort of components, weft and warp, the perpendicular,
and the cases.
And we can go refer to the cases.
Yeah, because they do they're the ones that started this idea where I contradict the twist, where I get everything to kind of line up, because there's a very kind of ordered beauty to her things. And it's about the warp and the weft. I mean, if you look at this piece and all its beautiful variations and color, but it has a very clear vertical and horizontal structure to it, which I think she celebrated. She enjoyed that. And so those pieces, much of them are in the cases right now, but they do that. They readjust the spiral nature of this crochet to being more of a lined up. It doesn't twist. It doesn't twist.
So it's a clear
anymore.
delineation in some respects of the horizontal vertical lines, but also the blurring of those lines. That when you squint your eyes, then those colors start to blend together.
Well, yes.
But God, this is so gorgeous.
The color mixes to me are so much more beautiful when they're made with dots of the different colors rather than literally mixing them like paint. Your eye does the mixing.
Your eye does the mixing.
If the dot is small enough, it's like pointillist painting.
Yeah.
These
and what do you have in
pieces,
your hand? These are so spectacular.
Yes, and these are it's not all that clear about who's inspiring what. The color in these are somewhat derived from the color of Missoni and the color of my mother's uses, but they are Larson. So like this, I think, is Larson did very graphic, strong patterns as well. So this one I call Larson, this pattern, and it actually mixes some shiny surfaces with dull surfaces, so you get some textural change. And
so those silk chambrays that's sort of playing into this.
With little bits, highlights of a brighter turquoise in there. A little surprise, a little fun surprise.
Claire, your use of color is so phenomenal, and it's daring when you put some of this palette together. These hues together. Look at this. You call this a rhomboid pattern.
This is a rhomboid pattern. It's like an elongated rectangle in there that repeats. And I'm playing the game of opposites. So where there's yellow, there's purple, and then it goes to orange and it's blue, and then these are playing against each other as opposites.
It's phenomenal,
and it's a little bit more graphic.
Very,
But
when you had all three of these together, even this
is
Missoni twist.
They all are intended. These are always intended to be able to be mixed and matched.
So the palette, the colors, the hues are similar.
Yes.
But the patterns all vary, and it's so rich. My God.
I mean, this one too, which I like very much with the group. This is a short 24-inch guy. It goes really well with these. It was intended to all kind of go together. So if you want a moment of ornamental sparkle on there, you can do that.
And of course, all of these necklaces, whether they're short or long, 24 to 43 inches, can all be wrapped around the wrist as bracelets.
Yes.
So you get that beautiful layered, one line after another, 5 or 6 times around the wrist. So you really start to see how these patterns align. And they're just so beautiful. Thank you. Please let us know. Send your emojis that you like what we're showing you this morning. It's so beautiful. So Missoni was known for his zigzag. So some of this reference, and we can look at some of the pieces in the case.
Yes.
As with most of your exhibitions, Claire, the pieces are sold even before the exhibition goes live, and so most of these pieces are already spoken for. But it would be fun to go to the cases and sort of just explore some of these other pieces. And we pulled some.
Leaders.
Well, okay, so if we start here.
That's a Missoni. You can see clearly there's that zigzag thing going on in there. It's a kind of a chevron pattern, but it's directly related to the things I've seen by Missoni that are influencing this, inspiring.
And this one is different on both sides. It's got its little sold red dot on it, but it really changes
as
from
front
around to back as you move around.
And half to half. Half of it is warm in hue, and half of it is cool. So that's if you wrap this around your wrist 3 times, you get a wonderful kind of play.
It lines up. I love that you do that and you line up the pattern. This one is one of my favorites. I love this piece. It's a blanket pattern?
It's called blanket pattern, which means that it's sections of variations on pattern and color that all relate, almost like a sample blanket would be.
And you've got gold. I can feel the weight of it.
Yeah, 18 karat gold is interwoven into the piece, silver, and cut steel. It's so subtle. I just love that piece. That's so beautiful. And you've got some bracelets for stacking. Yes. So this one is sort of reversible. One side is darker and one side is lighter. And it has 3 18 karat gold bands on it that have diamonds kind of secretly for the wearer on the inside and outside on the sides of it.
Yeah.
And this one, which has gold nuggets along the top.
Yeah.
And they pair.
Yes, that one is sold, but yes, beautifully paired. Gorgeous.
You could stack these,
I love that. I mean, and then sometimes you get really excited about color and pattern, and when you look at a piece like this.
I love the bold ornament.
Wild. Yes.
I'll show you this one. I love the charm bracelet idea, that these stones that are set in gold and stick off the end are like charms. And this one is part of the show, and it alternates beautiful royal blue kyanite with emerald. And then there's a little 18 karat gold bauble in between them.
It's perfect for the holiday.
Yeah, it's all holiday. It's more fun, to have these. These are cabochon, all of them, and there's turquoise and garnet, I think that is, and aquamarine and tanzanite. Not tanzanite. What is it tanzanite?
I believe it is.
The blue, yeah. Yeah, right.
Well, let's move. Can we move to the middle case?
Yes.
Let's move over here. And again, these are all sold, but this has become a favorite amongst your collectors, this piece. Again, blanket
and
pattern.
Lita. It's all about Lita.
They're so inspired by your mom. Yeah, and the more linear
and
fashion.
The kind of sections of variation of pattern that I see in her work.
Yeah. And then this one has these 2 inlaid silver bands that move around the necklace, which is a nice...
they slide around.
A nice detail.
And they play an opposites game. One is orange with blue lines, and one is blue with orange lines.
That's so beautiful.
And the necklace is about blue and orange.
Blue and orange. And then you've got the weaver's knot bracelet, also sold. But that's how your mother would often finish her textiles, with that weaver's knot at the bottom.
Right.
And again, the beautiful interplay of the yellow and the blue.
It progresses from light to dark, back to light again. So it plays that game as it moves. For me, the fun part is kind of celebrating the transition that happens as you move around a necklace or a bracelet.
Yeah.
And to play with that.
It's so beautiful. And then
this
these are
Lita.
A little quieter, these 3 pieces.
These are very Lita. So she liked to use interesting materials woven into her textiles, like she used wood, and she used thistles, and all kinds of interesting different fibers integrated into her hangings, into her tapestries. And so I find this is particularly, inspired by her work with the turquoise and picture jasper that really integrate with the rope design. So they're not sort of separate from it. They're really a part of it. The rope, they emerge from the rope.
I love how you do that, and we talk about this often when we do our meditations together, the way that line of glass beads just rides right off that gemstone and perfectly aligned, just like, just a waft of color, just sending down around the cylindrical diameter of that cord, or the circumference of the cord. Again, this one too, same, but it has silver alternating with the jasper.
And I picture these together.
Really zooming in here.
Together.
So these are saucer beads.
Right.
The detail is phenomenal. You've got matte beads, you've got more translucent beads, and
it lines up. It doesn't spiral. I'm sort of forcing it back so I can get these ridges. This is let's see, I'm using silver and little silver.
Lapis.
And then there's lapis and bloodstone.
Bloodstone and chrysocolla.
And chrysocolla, exactly.
And again, the shots of color, sort of this silver wash over those beads with the gold and the iridescent. Okay, and let's move over. Well, actually, there's this one, which is also sold.
Yes, so that has one 18-karat gold band that holds two bracelets together as one, and it's a sort of a very sunny, warm, light to dark, white, yellow, orange, red.
This palette in here is so desirable. No wonder all these pieces are already spoken for. And then we'll come back over to this case here, and this was a favorite which sold as well, where you've got these three sections of these hill tribe silver beads that you've put a little tarnish on, part of the crochet, and then the other three sections are these cylindrical glass beads in varying patterns, right? Yes. Ochre and orange, white, more neutral.
Sections,
and again, worn as a bracelet, all those different sections all line up.
They do.
And then, of course, one of the favorites is this emerald necklace, 100 emeralds.
It's got 100 lovely emeralds in it, and it too progresses from light to dark. Where the emeralds are smaller, it's pale and light, and then as the emeralds get larger, as you move around the piece, so they're graduated, it gets deeper and more saturated in color.
The purple. So again, playing with those opposites. Just beautiful. And then in this final case here, an oldie but a goodie with the opals.
Opal and a length of gold.
And a length of gold beads here. And this magical, I believe it's Ethiopian opal. You can see the orange and the green. Really large opal beads along this cord, a slightly larger bead, so it has a little bit more power around the neck. And then this lovely
Those are
opal.
Such beautiful opals, those little Ethiopian round cabochons.
These round cabochon opals on a beautiful cord of iridescent color. Claire, you just continue to astound us with the beauty that you bring into these pieces. It's just always such a pleasure to feel your work, to behold it, to wear it, and to claim it before someone else does, because these are all one-of-a-kind pieces and such unique treasures. Do you have anything else you want to add to this woven?
Thank you so much, and
thank you to everyone.
It's such a pleasure to make these for this show. It was really fun.
Well, I want to thank everyone who joined us this morning for our mindful meditation with Claire Kahn here at Patina Gallery. If you don't live here and you can't visit with us in the gallery, the exhibition is here in the gallery and online, but tomorrow it's from 5 to 7 is the opening. The works are all on our website, patina-gallery.com, and on all of our social media channels as well, and this video will also be on all of our social media channels. And we're just glad that you continue to join us for these mindful meditations. We've been doing this since COVID, and we'll continue to do it and come to you live from artist studios and from the gallery. I wish everyone a happy holiday, and please stay in touch. Thank you so much for letting us know that you like the work, and it's hard not to. And happy holidays. Happy New Year to everyone.
Holidays.
Thank you all so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.